Boom, 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 boom. What's good? What's good? What's really good, people? That's the man you all know and love, E. Digger. That's right. That's right. Hey, make sure you go to the fan page of Charm City Direct TV at facebook.com/Charm City Direct TV. You have guessed it. You have figured it out because you're right here on Baltimore's hottest online TV network, which is Charm City Direct TV. And you are live with E. Digger Speaks. That's right. Make sure you check out E. Digger Speaks every Wednesday, 9 a.m. right here on the home of E. Digger Speaks at Charm City Direct TV. Go to facebook.com/Charm City Direct TV. Or you could go to YouTube at Charm City Direct TV, or there's a lot of ors. You can go to Periscope, which is Twitter, Periscope, Twitter, at Charm City Direct TV. Today, we're going to be talking about remembering the time, a trip down memory lane. The reason why I selected this topic, people, is because sometimes don't you just zone out and think back to some of the greatest things that happen in your life? I know I do. I do it all the time. And one particular experiences that I had was just recent. I went back to my neighborhood where I grew up at, and that was on Smallwood, Little Street, right in the back of the greatest high school in the country right now, Frederick Douglass High School, right in the back of the track in the back of Douglass High School, called Smallwood. And I remember growing up there, and the one thing I can honestly say about my childhood, people, I had fun. And I tell people my childhood was fun. It was full of laughter. It was full of love from my brothers, my sister, my mom, my dad. It was just full of fun and laughter and love. And that was one of the things that I remember the most about my childhood, my upbringing, to my teenage years, to my 20s, my 30s. And then you start to live life as an adult. But I didn't want to get on here and share all of my experiences and remembering the time with you on my own. So what I did is I wanted to bring on some other people who pretty much shared or going to share some of their best childhood memories, teenage memories, and just compare those situations to today. I remember at one point, and before I'm going to say this, I'm going to bring them on, and these are good friends of mine. I went to school with them. That 450 Love, got to give it up. I remember at a time when I was growing up, I don't remember ever locking the door, locking my door to the house. We would go to sleep. The door would be either wide open or we never locked the door because we didn't have the significant crime or murder back then like we do now. So that is one situation that I always remembered. Like, I would just go to bed and then I will come back downstairs later and the door is like wide open. My mom is sitting there, my brother's sitting there, we watch TV. And I'm like, are they ever going to shut this door? So that was one situation or experience that I carried with me up until now, that everybody is locking doors because of crime, murder, burglary, all of that stuff. But back then, I don't remember locking the door. So joining me today, like I said, that 450 Love, Douglass High School, It's two of my good friends, and they can unlock their okay, good. All right, good. I'm going to bring on Vicky, my good friend Vicky. Now, you can't see them, but you can hear them because they have Apple phones.
Don't be a hater.
My good friend Vicky and my good friend Nay. How y'all? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Not a problem.
So, like I said, today's topic, people, today is remembering the time. I'm taking a trip down memory lane.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I shared a little bit. There's a lot more. Trust me, there's a lot more experiences that I could share, but people don't want to hear all about my experiences. So I wanted you guys to share just some of your experiences growing up, what it was like growing up in your neighborhood, some things that you remember that happened back then that is somehow changed now.
Cool.
Just some things that you see different that's going on today. That was different back then and is way different today. So take it away.
Okay, I'll go first. I grew up in two different spaces. Two different states. I grew up partially in Maryland, and I grew up partially in South Carolina. And when you were talking about the whole door closing and locking thing, that was that was so true. Like we didn't have to worry about locking the doors and everything. But the one thing that gets me now from childhood is that as an adult, I am so desensitized to some of the most tragic stuff that happened.
Mm,
Like back then, um if you heard of somebody a murder suicide, like you'd be like, oh my God, it would be
yeah,
like on your mind for weeks and weeks at a time. We have a murder suicide, it's in our ear for 1 minute and out the ear the next minute, and it doesn't even phase us anymore. So the being desensitized
get
to
it out.
major trauma is one of the biggest things that pricks me when stuff happens. Because I'm like, back in the day, man, I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about that. So I would say that's one of the main things since back in the day that I had to worry about. Vicky?
I mean, I don't know where y'all live, but I lock
Vicky?
my doors. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
You
can
can hear
barely
me,
hear you, but
Ronaldo?
okay.
You can't? She can't? God, let me get back. Let me fix this real quick.
Hello?
That's those people with those Apple phones.
Oh my gosh, mine is very much out there. Vicky, what
Can
are
you
you
hear me
doing?
now, Ronaldo?
You're making us look bad, girl.
Can you hear me?
You know he don't already dogged us on the phone about the phone.
She still can't hear me,
Oh
Yeah,
my
I can
goodness.
hear you.
but Ronaldo can't. Oh crap. Well, I don't know where y'all live, but we locked our doors, man. I grew up on Gilmore Street and Emerson Avenue, and we locked our doors. I mean, we had fun. People mind their business. Kids got to be kids growing
Yeah.
up when we grew up.
I
I
Yeah.
can't
mean,
hear her.
we stayed out late at night. I mean, until your mama yelled across the street or till the street light came on. That was like the best part on earth because you knew what time you were supposed to be in the house or sitting on the steps is when that street
Yes.
light came on. And I remember a time, the best time of my life. I was able to walk from Gilmore and Emerson all the way to East Baltimore to Bel Air Road and Frankfurt, and nobody bothered me. I would
Wow.
not dare try that
I
today.
can't hear her.
She cannot hear. It got to be something on your end, Ronaldo.
See, you got your earbuds in?
No, I took them off.
Who,
No.
me?
Yeah, Nay, you got your earbuds in?
Yeah, I do.
Take them
Because
off.
I can hear fine. My issue was my speakers was turned down.
I could hear her at first, but I can't hear her now.
Did she have her earbuds on at first?
Try putting your earbuds back in, Vicky. Maybe that'll work.
I had them on at first and she couldn't hear me.
Uh
Let me see. It's like, no, stop. Can she hear me now? Renata.
Nay, Renata,
Mm-hmm.
can you hear now?
No, I can't.
Can you hear me now? It sounds like that commercial.
You want me to go out and come back in, maybe?
No, it's not on your end.
Oh.
I think it's on her end.
Hold on.
Okay, she left out. That's what she was saying, Renata. I don't know if you can hear her.
I heard nothing.
She pretty much was saying the street light situation, because I had that was like
can you hear
that
me?
was like
I can hear you now.
All right. I just had to log in and log out. I don't know.
Okay.
Shake it all about. Do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around.
And stick your right foot in and stick your right foot out. But and that was
Can Ernest hear me now?
Yeah.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear him, Ronaldo?
Yeah, I can hear him.
And I can't hear him.
And you can't hear. Oh,
God.
Them Apple phones, I'm telling you.
You gonna stop coming for the Apple phone.
But that was the thing. Like the street games they used to play, hopscotch.
Yep.
Hide and go seek was my all-time favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the significance about the street light,
now I can you hear me, Ronaldo?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Ernest?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, great, good.
God is good. God is good.
All the time. So what I was saying was, the street light was significant. That it was okay. So when street light came on, that was your indication to get your ass in the house.
The steps. You better not let Deborah come out there and steps and come outside and come all in the park and find you. You're gonna get strangled. Like, no.
And when the street light for me, my mom, she'll come to the door. That's as soon that street light came on, my mom was at the door, and if I wasn't at that step,
it was gonna be a problem.
It was gonna be a problem. But now I see kids like 8, 9, 10 years old, and it's like damn near 10,
11
o'clock at night. Where in the hell are they going?
Mm-hmm.
Kitty discos.
Like I like when we out sometime and we might be out late or whatever, or we might go out on a date, me and my husband. I see these little kids. I'm like, hold on, what time do y'all put your kids to bed? Because I'm like, mine is sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play that. And I guess that's being raised old school. Like, your children have a bedtime for a reason, because it structures them. And I like my life now, my work ethic. Like, people laugh at me because I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. But I be like, child, if you hit me at the 7:30, you're not gonna get an answer because I'm asleep. But that's how my parents raised me. Like, it was like, you gotta go to bed at this time so you get on that routine. And as you get in as an adult, you'll be more structured. You know, so it works. It's a reason for it. And these nowadays parents, I just be like, and
it's crazy because, and it's funny that you say that, because Christian, my son, Christian is 16. I still, you still a child, although you're a teenager, I don't play that. Like, you need to be in here at a set time. So what he does, he tries me. He thinks that if I say 7:30, I expect you to be in this house at 7:30. But what he does is he'll leave around wherever he's at, like around, 7:15 or 7:20, knowing that wherever he's at, it's going to take him a while to get in the house. And I tell him, I say, look, man, you need to be in here at 7:30, not 7:32, not 7:34. You need to be in here at 7:30. 7:30 is 7:30. But and when I was growing up, that was my mom. It was like, you need to be in this house at a certain time. And if I was not in that house at that certain time, that was my ass, for real. And that's one of the things that has somehow changed. And another thing is staying up all night. Like,
oh my God,
Ronaldo, you said kids had a curfew. I mean, kids had a bedtime. Now kids is just all up all hours of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow.
And then they wonder why they can't function during the day at school.
They
because
going
you
to
haven't
sleep.
got enough time to let your body recuperate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
And like what I wouldn't do to be in daycare so I could take a nap in the middle of the day. Jesus.
But you know what?
I'd be so envious of my daughter. I go to the daycare, she's sleep at 2:00 in the afternoon. Where they do that at?
Like, wake up.
Wake up.
You leave her alone. Leave her.
Oh, they don't sleep around here. Everybody got a job to do.
Get up. Another thing, fighting. Fighting is different. You know, you
oh man. Yeah.
Remember 3:00, you put up what's that? The international fight symbol?
Punching your hand. Yeah, 3:00. Me and
3:00 is 3:00. Now they want to stab people and shoot people.
Like you can't even. Prime example, like okay, so where I live at I'm over here in Jewtown in Pikesville with the Jewish folk, and so we don't have a whole bunch of police and stuff running around, but I've been living in my complex for about maybe how old is being 4. I've been here about like 4 years, 3.5, 4 years, something like that. And I've never had an issue with my neighbors. But one night, this was recently, I think back in December, I had one of the neighbors banging on the wall. Yeah. Well, it sounded like they was banging on the wall, and it was like 10:00 at night. And I'm like, what the heck? Like that, right? So my little baby, she sleeps in the room with me in the crib. So she would wake up and start crying, like, because it was scaring her out of her sleep. Mm-hmm. So of course, that made me mad. I'm like, what the heck are they doing at 10:00 at night? So at first I was like, I'm gonna put my clothes on. I'm gonna walk over there and I'm gonna knock on their door. And then I had to think, like, hold on. They might shoot you for knocking on the door. Like, because people are such cowards nowadays. They can't take anything. Like back in the day, you could go knock on the neighbor's door if the music was too loud, say, excuse me, can you turn your music down a little bit? And they might be upset about it, but they like, all right, we good. Close the door, turn the music down, and you go about your business. And if they turn it back up, the next thing you do is you call the police, because you ain't gonna be over there bopping somebody in the head over music. But nowadays, I told my husband was like, he was like, no, I don't want you to go over there. I'm gonna go over there. I said, no, you're not going over there. The police gonna go over there because that's what we paid them for out our taxes. So I was like, no, let me call the police. So when the police came, he came to the door. He said, well, which house is it? I said, honestly, they double side by side. I said, so you have to knock on both doors because I'm not sure which one leads to the upstairs. I said, but if you stand right here, he came in my room and he could hear the banging. He went over there. He came back. He was like, oh, she putting up curtains. I said, who the crap puts up curtains at 10:00 at night? I said, did you explain to her that I have a 1-year-old child over here that's trying to sleep and she's crying? He said, yeah, I did let her know that. So I was like, okay, well, thank you, because it stopped. Why 20 minutes later, that one started banging again? I said, see, this is what I'm talking about. Now it's even later. It's almost 12:00.
Wow.
Yeah. Talking about she putting up curtains. I said, she better be glad I don't know who that is, because I'm telling you, I would stand outside and wait until that wench came outside and lay into her soul.
I would have started banging my damn self.
But I didn't want to scare the kids because they were asleep. Oh, yeah, now, if it had been like they wasn't here or something, it would have been on and rocking, because I wouldn't have been out there like beatboxing and banging and all kind of stuff. Because I'm ignorant as hell. But yeah, we can hear you. But that's not where I'm trying to be at as an adult anymore, So, but yeah, it was a little much. It was a little much. But that's sad. Like back in the day, you would go and knock and say, hey, excuse me, can you stop? But now I just had to think like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Our neighbor tried to kick down our door. He almost got shot, but he tried to kick down our door.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Man.
He go to work in the morning, and no, his wife goes to work in the morning. He goes to work at night. So, at the time we had Victoria and Tamia, and we just had Tiana. So they expected our kids not to move, period.
Oh.
Because he was sleeping in the daytime, and when she came home in the afternoon, she wanted to be asleep. They was like, your kids running around too much. They run around in the daytime and in the afternoon. That's what they supposed to do.
They're kids.
Yeah, they're kids.
They're kids.
We're not raising no sloths into my house. Like, come on,
right?
They're kids.
Right.
So But this couple would sit up there and have fight parties that would lead to a real fight in the parking
Oh
lot.
Jesus!
And like 4:00 in the morning, they'd be arguing, fussing, whatever. And you know, when you say nothing to them, you grown, do your own thing. My kids sleep like rocks, so they don't even disturb me. So you know, I didn't care. So one day, this dude decides to try to kick down our door like 6-something in the morning.
What?
I mean, I ain't see Thomas locking low so fast in my and y'all know he a Marine, so he has the bullet separate from the gun, and he has a key in the gun, and all thing I heard was click, click, clack, and he was at and
he gonna protect his by all means.
So we went down there and we talked to him, and the first thing they said, well, y'all need to move. Y'all need to get a bottle. Like, come on now. We can't be adults about this. You can't expect my kids just to sit still
all day, right?
Yeah. And they were older than us, though. And that's the part that tripped me out. It's just like sometimes you can't always blame the younger kids because these old people.
They set in their ways.
Right. They're truly set in their ways.
There's
definitely set in their ways.
There's an old lady across the street from where we live at now. During the summer, and, you know, kids are kids. You know, kids go outside and, you know, they play and, you know, they forget sometimes their surroundings. With that being said, she has a gray car. I don't know what make and model of the car, but it's a gray car. So the whole summer that, you know, we had just moved around. So my kids go outside. They wasn't even nowhere near the car. She was like, these kids are always on my face. They wasn't even touching her car. I'ma call the police. I was like, for what? Because they were standing like, they were standing around her car, but they kept moving down. You see what I'm saying? She reminded me the guy off of Friday. What's it, Stanley?
Get off my grass.
Yeah, kept sticking his head out the door, you know.
Oh, geez.
So I went over there one day. I said, ma'am, how you doing? My name is, you know, I said my name. And she was like, she just looked at me, right? So I said, my two boys, these are my two boys right here. We just moved around here. If there is any problem, if you have any problems whatsoever, come knock on my door and talk to me. I said, but I've seen them play. I've seen what they are doing. They're not touching your car. There they is. They leaning up on my car. I said, ma'am, I said, right, I can see your car and your house. Trust me, they are not leaning on your car. They not leaning nowhere around your car. And that's another thing, like respect. You know, when we was growing up, there was a respect code. You know, the elderly, anybody older than us, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Now it's, oh my God, OMG Becky. Like these kids, the millennials I don't know where it's gone.
Let me tell you something. The last job I had, I dealt with hiring and everything, and I hired a couple of millennials, and let me tell you something. I ain't never fired so many people in my life. I'm talking about, and I've been in management for a long time. Man, I was firing these kids left and right. And the reason this was because not that they didn't technically want to work, but they didn't have no work ethic. Like they had no oomph about this stuff. Like they want to text out. Where the hell they do that at? Yeah. When they start doing that? When do you start texting out of work?
Did she just cut off?
I think she did. That's those Apple phones for you.
You know what? You gonna stop dogging out.
Well, she probably got me on mute.
She probably hit mute fussing.
She probably still talking.
Right. And to stop talking.
You know what? She gonna be like, hello, y'all hear me?
Dang, now she making Apple look bad. We're not advertising,
Yes.
bro. That's the Apple, man.
For the people that are watching, my two guests have Apple phones.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Because y'all click on the wrong link with your little rink-a-dink Androids and you get a whole damn virus. So
Wait a minute. Flag. Wait a minute. Flag on play now. When StreamYard introduced their program of having video, they rolled it out for Android first.
Hold up, no, because my classmate, she got virus on her phone, and guess what she got? Android.
Yes. So don't even go there. I was so happy when StreamYard, shout out to StreamYard. They are not paying me to say this one, but when they rolled out this program, they started, because most programs what they do, they start with Apple, and I'm a little heated about that. But when StreamYard first rolled out their program, they started with Android, and I was like, thank you. Now y'all have to wait for the video for StreamYard. Man,
forget that. Ain't nobody want to see me looking stressed out in class anyway.
So you in class now?
Yeah, no, my class didn't start yet. I'm just sitting in the classroom with a few classes.
Oh, okay.
We got a paper due. All of us, we just starting, and the paper's due tonight.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Let's get back on topic until Renard to figure out what's happening. Because
Nova probably took her phone to be like,
right. Nova probably said, "That's it.
That's it. Enough talking. I need cereal." But no, it's crazy because, like I said, where I grew up at, or even back when I was growing up, there was a mutual respect. Then we talked about, we had a conversation about drug dealers. Mm-hmm. And how, if they saw an older person, the elderly, and if they was, doing a business, they will stop and move, and they wouldn't do it around in that neighborhood. And I thought, that was remembering the times, they did what they had to do. But when elderly people came around, even if they was coming home from shopping or coming out to sweep their step, they stopped what they doing. They were doing, and they moved their operation long enough for, I'm going to respect the fact that this person is here, and I'm not going to do that, But now
they don't care.
They don't care. They don't give a damn.
Because they used to just leave people alone that didn't have nothing to do with what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now it's just like they're shooting anybody. Kids, I remember. Thank God for my lateness. I will say that. Thank God for my lateness. I'm probably the only person on earth that will say this, because I'm a big procrastinator. And one time I was supposed to come to my mom's house. I just sat in the house for 15 minutes going, no. Then I packed.
Okay, I lost another person. Okay, she's back. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, crap.
Nope, just lost there again. So today's topic, people, is remembering the time, taking a trip down memory lane. I am joined by two guests. One person just left off. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, sorry, somebody called me.
Oh, okay. Those Apple phones do it every time.
But I remember I was just late. Procrastination is my thing. I need to get rid of it though. And I was like 5 minutes late getting to her house, and they just had a shootout on my mom's block, and they shot up the whole block. Like everybody's car had bullet holes in it.
Oh my God!
And where my car was going to be, had the most clips in the street.
Wow!
And it's the exact spot where I parked my car, and I was like, "Dang, me and my kids would have got shot up."
Yeah.
It was like 5 clips sitting right there in the street, and it was just a blank. It was just a blank car spot, and I would have parked there. And I was like, my brother's car had 2 bullets through it, and I was just sitting there like, thank God I was late, because either we would have been getting out the car, or we would have just been pulling up.
Wow.
And it was just it's crazy. And I remember another time, nobody used to mess with us because my stepfather was a pastor. So it's the pastor people, they don't bother nobody. I go to school with say nothing to nobody. And actually, I didn't know it. The drug dealers was actually looking out for me because they just knew me not to bother nobody. And a new group of them came in the neighborhood, and I was coming home from work. It had to be like 5 o'clock. And the guy grabbed me by my arm, and I pulled away from him.
Okay.
And he was like, "What's your phone number?" And I was like, "I don't know you." And I just kept walking. He said, "I just wanted to know if you were, effing." I don't know if we can curse on here, but. And I was like, "If I am, I ain't effing you." And so, and I continue to walk, and he was like, "B, you don't know me," and blah blah blah. So me being me, because I wasn't that quiet girl no more from high school. I dropped my bag in the middle of the street, and I was like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
Like, me and D was about to scrap because you getting rejected.
Wow.
But one thing I wasn't about, the dude was letting him touch me. And like my mom and stepfather moved me out that neighborhood so quick because he threatened to shoot me.
Oh my God.
Because I was ready to square up with him. He's like, "Next time I see you, I'm gonna kill you."
Oh my goodness.
And he moved me out that neighborhood so quick. And I've never had a problem. And this was Emerson Village. And we never had a problem with none of the drug dealers in that area until the new guys moved in. And it's just like, it's no respect, it's no code, it's no, don't bother people that don't bother you.
Yeah.
They don't care. And even it's just come down to the police officer being different because they don't care either.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They don't.
I remember one time it was a bad incident with me and the police. It wasn't bad, but they almost made me fall down the steps. I was coming out the house because I worked at the airport and I had to be there by 6.
Okay.
So I normally leave the house like 4 something in the morning because I was catching the bus. I had no car. And they shined the light on my face coming out the door. As soon as I about to take that first step, because my face was about to eat concrete that morning. And he was like, "What are you?" He's like, "And what are you doing out there?" Minding my business.
Yeah, I'm going to work. Like, what the hell?
Like you're not supposed to be doing this and doing that. And I was just like, dang, they're just harassing people leaving out the door to go to work just because of the area you live in. It's just like they treated you funny, looked at you funny.
That's crazy. Hey, Ronaldo, you here?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Is she back?
Yeah, I brought her back in. Those good old Apple phones. I gotta get one though.
You know what? Apple gonna come see me and Ronaldo like, look, I'm like, look, it ain't our fault. Step your game up, Apple.
Even cell phones has changed. Remember the first cell phone that came out?
Oh my goodness.
The big old bulky cell phone.
You win a fight with that cell phone. I swear, you can just bust somebody in the head with your cell phone. That'd be fight.
Yes, that was a weapon right there. Hey, Ronaldo.
I can't.
Yeah, I can't hear her neither.
She probably still fussing that whole time.
What'd you say?
She was still fussing the whole time talking about millennials.
Yeah, she was going off on millennials. But from the video, I don't know if you was able to see the video of the 2 boys. I believe it was at Patterson. I did see that video. Bullying back then, again, was something that caught us by surprise. Because we never heard of it. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Vicky?
Oh, crap. Yo, what is going on?
It's them Apple phones.
Oh, Vicky on mute.
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say she's on mute. Okay, good.
No,
I can hear everybody now.
Because Ernest was talking about bullying. No,
so bullying now is at an all-time high. Because this is one of the situations where we didn't hear about it But then when we heard about it, it was, you know, it was like, oh my God, you know. Now bullying was something that has drastically changed
Oh my
throughout the
God.
years. And I was talking about the video. I was able to see the video on IG about with the two gentlemen, the guy who stabbed the other dude. He
Oh
was
yeah,
being
at
bullied.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at school at
I saw
Patterson,
that.
and he was being bullied.
Yes,
And
he was.
a lot of people were upset about that, saying he didn't have to stab the boy. Now, I go back to say this. I have a 16-year-old, and of course, my girlfriend, she has a 13-year-old, because it's happened to us with the bullying. Two little what are they? Mixed curly haired little punks around the corner
Oh Lord.
uh tried it because they feel like they are privileged. They feel like they're just because they're mixed, they can, you know, do these type of things. So I can attest to, and then with Christian in middle school, it was guys messing with him. He went to the store and bought a knife.
Mm.
And my thing is, y'all don't know how long this child's been bullied.
Right.
That day,
He was done.
it was it. It was enough is enough. I'm going to put this knife up in your ribs.
Because you're gonna get away from me now.
Exactly. So a lot of people was going off on social media talking about, you know, he shouldn't have stabbed them, he could have killed them. But that's my point. It's like, how much is enough? When is enough is enough? Y'all don't know how long that little boy or that boy was being bullied.
Correct.
You know, and then when I watched the video, if y'all get a chance, look at the video. He the girl was the biggest instigator.
Always.
Right.
And then when the boy, you know, stuck him the first time, it was like, oh my God, you know. Now back then it was fun, it was laugh, you know, until somebody got hurt. Now she's like, oh my God, get him, he's gonna kill him. But you wasn't saying that just a minute ago, where your homeboy was like all up in this boy's face. So that dynamic has definitely changed.
But you know, it's just like with Ernest, just like what you talking about with that right there. You know how people used to intervene? Like you couldn't catch a man hitting a woman back in the day because every man that was in that area would beat the brakes off of whoever that other dude was. It didn't matter who they was. They would approach them, you know. And it's just like with the man who beat that lady on the subway that kicked the 78-year-old. Like, dude, like everybody on that subway, instead of putting out your phone, should have came to that woman's aid. I mean, he might have had a gun or a knife, but guess what? He can't shoot and kill every dang on body, because by the time he would have reached, we would have beat the bulk off of him, and he wouldn't have been able to use his fingers for the next 20 years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of that care, concern, and the things that we was taught as children has gone out the window. And I hate to say it, but because sometimes because of back in the day when we had the people having babies at 13 and 14, they were still children themselves. So they was being instilled to, but they wasn't technically there yet. So they grew up with their kids.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it was like a lot of times those children were not imparted into like we were, because they grew up like siblings opposed to like adults having children. Yeah. You know, so it was like we lost something there, and it's sad because it hurts. Like it hurts the community as they get older. Like I'm 38 now. I'm so scared if I make it to 65, 75, the millennials gonna be in charge. Jesus help me. Jesus, please. Because I'm just scared, because where is the nation going? It's already in turmoil because look what we got in the White House, and we allowed that to happen. Yeah. So it's probably going to get worse because people have no type of care, concern about themselves and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm nervous. It just scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told Thomas the other day, like, sometimes I wish we didn't have kids because look at the world that we brought them into.
Sure.
Man, this bullying stuff is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
The schools don't take it seriously either. They're too busy about trying to protect what little reputation they have that they don't take it seriously either.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly came home because, again, Christian was about to be he was about to be attacked by like 15 boys. But that situation was guilty by association. He was hanging around somebody that just because Christian hang around with this dude, I'm going to get you now. You see what I'm saying? And Christian had nothing to do with that beef that you had, and that's another thing. So I came home and I honestly said to myself, I wish I can turn off being an adult just for a couple of hours.
Right.
You know,
you get down with it.
Yeah, I don't want to have any kids. I don't want to have any responsibilities because it gets to be too much. And me growing up, you know, you never had these problems. You know, I don't have kids. I don't have bills. I'm chilling. I'm good. But then, you know, reality kicks in. You get older, and you know, and it's like, man, I gotta pay bills. I gotta take care of the child, and it gets real. And you know, you start to realize that, you know, this is your life. This is what, you know, God has in store for you, or God put on your heart to do. Yeah. So today's topic, people, and if you guys out there that's watching, if y'all have any experiences, how you was brought up, your childhood, your teenage years that were good back then, but is completely different now. Completely. Yeah, completely. Make sure you tune in and leave your comments. You can comment right now. We are on 3 major social media networks right now: YouTube, Facebook, of course, and Periscope, Twitter. So if you don't like Facebook, you could go to YouTube. If you don't like YouTube, you could go to Periscope, and any which way you want to watch. E-Digger Speaks right now. And like I said, the topic is remembering the time, a trip down memory lane, and how things were so good back then and how they're just gone. I remember cereal boxes were big as hell. Back then, you got more cereal in this one box, and now, oh my Jesus, like they're so skippy. Like the cereal boxes is on diets now. Like, like I said, I got boys, and they eat cereal like all wee times of the night, all wee times of the day. It's like a snack for them. But I was just in the kitchen, and I was like, God damn, like. I have never seen the cereal box on recession like this. Yeah, this is crazy. Like, what is wrong with this little poor box? Like, Captain Crunch is like, oh my God.
Not Captain Crunch.
No, he's Captain.
Oh my God.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh my God, that's the junk.
Oh God, yes. Do you know my child? Let me tell you, I love my childhood so much as a child when it came down to the TV programming. Do y'all remember Rescue 911 with William Shatner? That was like the best. Okay, yes. But I digress. But my daughters, like this crap they got out here. I mean, I can deal with Dr. Stuffins and all that stuff, but when you talk about some of the cartoons, I can't do it. So I took my daughters and I put Pee-wee Playhouse on. You know, my child like Heathcliff, Garfield, you know, the Smurfs, Scooby-Doo. She watches that stuff. Dennis the Menace, the old school 180s. I don't want to expose them to that because it's too grown, it's too much. They cussing, they doing explicit stuff. My child is 4, about to turn 5, and I want to keep her in a child's place. Like I don't want to expose her, you know, to some old crazy foolishness if I don't have to. And that's just what I pride myself on. So I don't do it.
My kids, they watch, you know, DuckTales, Tales.
Yeah, that.
I even got them hooked on Ghost Rider. Do y'all remember that?
Hey, that was my joint. It used to come on MPT. Yes.
I got them hooked on that. The old Sesame Street, Reading Rainbow.
Yep, all that.
Like they like stuff like that. Like I want something that will stimulate their mind. And people are shocked when I tell them my kids do not watch SpongeBob.
Right.
And they be like,
right. Oh no, he is banned in my house. And Caillou. Jesus, Caillou would never make it in my house.
Caillou.
Bald head old Caillou. Okay, we used to watch a little bald head boy, but then it was that one episode when Caillou broke something, and his dad was like, "Oh, well, since you," and it's just like he lied throughout half of the episode, but then because he told the truth the last 5 minutes, so the dad was like, "Oh, I was forgiven and let me fix it." Like what?
No.
I don't know what kind of pacifying y'all doing.
He's
like,
a brat.
Never gets punished. Like he never gets to go to your room and just sit there and think about it. Like baldhead Caillou was a bad little kid.
He's a brat.
I want to smack the crap out of Caillou. Like, oh my God. Like,
He's a brat.
I have never seen a little bald-headed boy crying as much as Caillou. Oh my God. I watched the episode of Caillou. One time, I think I was sick and I was in bed and I was just flipping through channels. And you know how you see something and you just glance at it and you say, I'm gonna watch it one day. That was me. And I said, okay, I'm gonna watch this little bald head son of a bitch. Like, what is this all about? And I cut it on when the music came on and the music, he was whining like,
yes. I can't take it.
I was like, damn, bitch, you like the credits ain't even get off yet, and you like what are you at?
Yes, horrible. Horrible.
Caillou off.
What'd you say?
Is that why they cut Caillou off?
I don't know.
People was up there putting a hit out on Caillou.
All I know is even Daniel Tiger a little bit. Daniel Tiger, you had to watch him because his parents let him get away with a lot of stuff too. And I'm like, if Daniel Tiger tell Phoenix over and over to come in my house and start stomping 3 times and take a breath, that'll be the last one because I'm not doing you stomping in my house because you can't get your way. Because they sing about everything. And so they was like, oh, if you're frustrated, stomp 3 times. 1, 2, 3, take a breath, and it'll be okay. I said, if you stomp 3 times, you ain't gonna be able to take that breath. Because I'm gonna snatch it out of you through your feet. So don't worry about it. Like, do not listen to Daniel Tiger because you will be breathless. Like nobody has time. So you and that.
Yo, oh my God, Caillou was the worst.
Yeah, Caillou was a little much.
And then with all of these new cartoons that's coming out, I'm looking at the teaching quality. I'm looking at the quality itself. It's like they went back to basics with the stick figures and I'm like, you had He-Man, you had Fat Albert, you had oh my God, Pac-Man, you had
Pac-Man. Lord.
The Transformers was the newest Transformer was the most disappointing.
Oh my God, we ain't even gonna talk about that.
Back, and I saw that cartoon, I wanted to throw my TV. I swear.
Oh God, Mr. Pulley was very upset.
Oh my goodness! It's like how can you see the front and the back at the same time? Like this ain't working well for me.
It's more animatish. The cartoons now is more animatish. You had Scooby-Doo, you had even the superhero movies, superhero cartoons, you had Super Friends. Super Friends were the all-time favorite. The quality now is different where everything is either stick figure-ish or animatish. Anime. Nothing against anime. You got some diehard anime fans out there. I don't want them to see me out in public and be like, you saying something about anime. I don't want that to happen, but maybe I don't like anime. So why is anime like the new norm now? I don't get that. Give me traditional Saturday morning cartoons that started at 6 o'clock in the morning and to damn near 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Non-stop. You can't find that now. Even on Cartoon Network, you can't even find that.
They ain't even on Cartoon Network no more.
No.
That's crazy.
Cartoon Network sucks.
Donnie said, remember Transor Z? So I just want to say thank you both for coming on the show and sharing your experiences. about remembering the time, took a trip down memory lane. I appreciate you both for coming on the show. Thank you. That 450 love is eternal.
Next time, let's talk
You are
about
so
music.
welcome.
And before I go, just want to say y'all might want to transform over back to Android phones.
Oh my God, the devil is
Oh my
that devil
goodness.
is the liar all
I
day
love my
long.
music, guys. I can't do it. I love my music.
Yes, we
All
love
right.
it.
I talk
Well,
to y'all
thank you,
later.
sir. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day.
All right, you too.
Cool. That was my good friends Vicky and Ronaldo. Both went to the greatest high school ever, Frederick Douglass High School in Baltimore. They came on the show to talk about their experiences with remembering the time, how things were different back then, how it was good. Like I said in the first half of the show, I remember my mom, true story, used to keep the door open at night. And, you know, I remember my mom watching soap operas and having a person come in to the door and watching soap operas with her. You can't do that now. Now, as far as company is concerned, to come over and talk and, you know, have company, yes, all day, every day, it's your house. But as far as locking doors and, you know, monitors and all of that type of stuff, you know, it's kind of different now. You can't leave your door open. Of course you can't leave your door open because people just walk on in your stuff and take your stuff. You see what I'm saying? And then I remember a time where the atmosphere was different, you know, during the summertime around my old block where I grew up at, and I'm talking about Smallwood, you know, everybody came out, everybody was out, everybody knew each other, everybody said hi, everybody spoke, everybody had a genuine respect for other people. We don't have that now, people. We don't have that now. And also, we talked a little bit about, you know, growing up as a child, everybody fought, everybody, you know, stood their ground. And, you know, if you didn't fight with these, it wasn't a fight. We don't have that now because everybody wanted to shoot and kill before there, you know, was a fight. And then I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let y'all go. There was a guy, they said it was two guys downtown and they was fighting. And it was a serious fight. And then after the fight, they shook hands and they went to the nearest bar and got something to drink. That has totally gone. Totally gone. Like I said, everybody now want to stab somebody, want to shoot somebody and kill. Will we ever get those times back? Will we ever get those moments back where everything is fine and good? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Who time will tell. I just want to say thank you for everybody who has tuned in, everybody who left comments. Thank you. Remember, E Digger Speaks is live every Wednesday, 9:00 a.m. right here on Charm City Direct TV. Go to the fan page of Charm City Direct TV, facebook.com/Charm City Direct TV. Like and share the page. Also, you could get a chance to watch Charm City Direct TV on YouTube and Twitter and Periscope. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. It's a lot. And make sure you join me this Friday because live on Let's Talk with E Digger, I will have the pleasure to interview my sister, my good friend, Poetless Shakespeare, because she's coming on the show to talk about her new book, DNA. What is DNA? Everybody asks. Don't never assume. That is Friday, March 29th at 8 p.m. right here on Charm City Direct TV. Of course, you could go to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. to watch that interview with the dynamic poetless Shakespeare. What can I say, people? You've been great. I love you, of course. Thank you for watching. And as I end my broadcast all the time with, I holler at you when I smile. Well, I don't really sound like that. I holler at you when I smile at you. Peace.